How Spider Got a Thin Waist. Many dry seasons ago, before the oldest man in our village can remember, before the rain and the dry, and the rain and the dry, that any of us talk about to his children. Spider was a very big person. He does not look as he does today, with his fat head and his fat body and his thin waist in between. Of course, he had 2 eyes and 8 legs, and he lived in a web. None of him was thin. He was big and round, and his waistline very fat indeed. Today he is very different, as all of you know, and this is how it came to pass. One day, Spider was walking through the forest in the early morning, and he noticed an unusual pleasant smell. He wrinkled his nose and sniffled the wind. It was food! Goodness! He had almost forgotten the festival of harvest. Every village in the big forest preparing a feast. The women were cooking yams and kasva and chicken with peanut-flavored sauce, fish and peppers, and rice boiling in the great pots over the fires. Spider's heart jumped for joy. His mouth watered, his eyes sparkled, and he smiled brightly. Already he could taste the food on his tongue. Now, of course, Spider had not done any of the work to deserve the feast, and no one had invited him to come and eat. Spider had not planted yams or potatoes. He had not planted rice, or had not gone to sea in a large boat to catch fish. For Spider did not like to work at all. All day he played in the sun and slept, and since it's not customary to refuse food to anyone who comes to one's door, he ate very well by simply visiting all his friends. He ate more than they did, not far away where there were 2 villages. Spider stood just in the middle of the forest, and the 2 were exactly the same distance away. Today, each village would have a great feast. How lucky for me, Spider thought. But then he was puzzled. If there are 2 dinners, he didn't know which one he wanted to go to. He did not know which one he would have the most to eat. So Spider sat under a breadfruit tree and thought and thought and thought. At last, he had an idea. He could go to both, of course. Spider was so pleased with his good idea that he did a little dance right then and there. But how could he really know when the food would be ready? He sat under the breadfruit tree again and thought and thought and thought. Then he had another idea. He did a little dance just because he was so brilliant. And then he did 2 things. First, he called his eldest son Kuma. He took a long rope and tied it to his waist. The other side he gave to his son. Take this side to the village on the east, he said to Kuma. When the food is ready, give the rope a hard pull, and I will know when it will be time to come and eat. So Kuma went to the east village and took the end of the rope with him. Then Spider called his youngest son, Quaco. He took another long rope and tied it around his waist just below the first one. Quaco, take this rope to the village on the west, he said, and when all the food is looked, pull very hard, then I will come and get my fill. So Quaco went to the east village carrying the rope with him. My friends, can you imagine what happened? I don't think so, so let me tell you. The people in the east village and the people in the west village had dinner at the exact same time. So of course Kuma and Quaco pulled on both of the ropes at the exact same time. Kuma pulled to the east and Quaco pulled to the west. The rope got tighter and tighter. Poor greedy Spider was stuck in the middle. He could go neither east or west or left or right, and Father did not come, so they pulled tighter and harder all the time. And something was happening to Spider. The rope squeezed tighter and tighter, and his waist got thinner and thinner. Kuma and Quaco waited till all the food was eaten. Then they came to look for their father. When they found him, he was looking very different. His waistline was thin, thinner than a needle. Spider never grew fat again. He stayed the same until today. He has a big head and a big body and a tiny little waist in between. For this story, I chose not to use any props just to show emphasis on the tones in my voice, to emphasize words that would really speak through kids. Since this story is aimed toward a younger audience, mostly children, because it's a folktale, I think it's really important to connect with the children instead of showing them props to get their attention. So yeah, thanks.